Information Security Hot Tub, Episode 6.1, Special Update on the Ground in Kyiv with Chris Kubecka.
We're actually sitting at the border in Ukraine on the way into Romania, where we've been stopped for a little while. It's kind of inch by inch movement, trying to go, maintain our space before people come into us and take our lane, or hit the side of the vehicle like what happened earlier. But we're just sitting here discussing some of the things that have been going on because the kids are asleep, and it's pretty interesting. Yeah, that's one thing I can say.
Hey, Chris. Eric here.
Hey, Eric.
Hello. How are you feeling?
I'm a bit tired. Luckily, Michael saw how tired I was. He's like, "Yeah, my turn to pop in and drive." And also concerned because it's already been confirmed that there are elevated radiation levels here in Ukraine. Not to like a critical level, but so it's not the greatest conversation to have.
No. The UN Security Council just voted down the security resolution. Now it's going to the General Assembly. Russia, of course, vetoed it, and it was dead on arrival. So
they've got to.
That's just what's happening.
They have got to get rid of these permanent seats because Russia can veto everything, every atrocity, let's take over Chernobyl power plant, let's bomb a children's hospital. They bombed a children's hospital in Kharkov. I mean, yeah. I don't know if many of you know the history of the UN and why it came about, but I'll give you a too long didn't read. It was because Italy violated the League of Nations and went into Ethiopia, and there was even chemical gas used, and so it like broke up the League of Nations, and then out of that was born the UN, supposedly for something like that, a major partner to never commit a major atrocity again. And here we are. History doesn't repeat, it rhymes. It's just a different country and more devastating consequences for the entire world.
Yep. And actually, every single member on the council that voted for it has done that history lesson today, and has condemned Russia for being a permanent member and the current president of the Security Council. So it's pretty bad there. But they're moving towards the General Assembly tomorrow, I believe. So.
Well,
don't know what that's going to do. Don't know what it's going to do right now, but
they somehow mysteriously get enough votes to end the permanent seat, but then the consequences, and that's a really drastic move. And that's just my wish and desire, but there might be lots of other consequences. But this is it's just more and more a ridiculous situation on top of a situation where most people now seem to want to leave, and it's terrible. Because once you leave a country with whatever you have, there's no guarantee you're going to be able to come back or see anything that you used to have. And something's got to be done, but what is the question? How? What?
So so for those of you that don't know, Chris has been on the move since yesterday at 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, crossing from Kyiv to Romania, and has still been on the move. How many people are on the bus? There's two buses, right?
There was a bus and a car. Right now, we're short a few people because they decided to try to walk it, which is a bit of a risk, but we told them if they get too cold, because border control has been making people wait tremendous amounts of time, including people walking, just standing in the cold. They might have, babies, kids, whatever. And so if they need to come back, they can come back and try to stay warm on the bus. And the car, Brian has it because he's going to try to use it to get more people out and make more arrangements with buses in different areas of Ukraine to try to get American, Five Eyes, and anybody else, almost anybody else, not Russians, who can fill seats, because he doesn't want to send empty seats over the borders.
How many people are on the bus currently?
24 minus the lady we dropped off. How many?
Okay.
How many did?
And how many children? How many children here?
3 kids. Right, only 3.
Yeah, 3 kids.
And what?
8 Romanians.
No, we have 1 Romanian.
Oh, and 1 Romanian.
So, and then 2 Romanians. So, 6 Romanians tried to walk over.
Okay.
So 6 plus
3.
3
9, and then
minus 24.
there's 1.
So it's what, midnight right now? 12:09
Yeah,
right now for you?
We're starting to lose the ability to do any math.
I mean,
Oh, you can talk. This is Michael.
yeah, hey there. Yeah, I feel like we've got like 10, 11 people here. Mostly Americans.
And how are you doing, Michael? How are you doing?
Good, good. Keeping up. Driving. Yelling at people. Trying to be on our way. Yeah.
Is it orderly there? I mean, I know the cars are trying to cut in line, but is it like, are the people keeping their cool? Are they being a little more hectic now that they're so close to the border?
Well, it's technically close to the border, but we're like 2 or 3 days away from the border. Although we're like 3 kilometers away,
Yeah.
and there are 2 lines one way and 2 lines the other way. But now we've got like 4 lines one way, and then the trucks that are coming to Ukraine are blocking the way for the first line, so they have to back up. And we're in the middle of there are trenches on the side of the road, so the cars that have to back up, they have to only back up. They cannot move aside, and that doesn't really help. So from what I've heard, that Romania is saying, why do you do that so
Disorganized.
disorganized? And the police is coming from time to time. They try to do some honestly speaking stupid stuff. And while they're stopping some couple of cars, the rest bunch of cars, like 50 or extra, cut those couple of lines and they just fill in.
Yeah.
And they do not let you go, although you're, like pushed by the police to the side where it is possible. And yeah.
Yeah, it's just very disorganized on the Ukrainian side.
Well, we're trying to make some arrangement for the local authorities.
Your Leatherman.
Is there food where you guys are there food establishments that you can walk to, or is it or do you are you depending on the food that you brought?
There is some. There's one convenience store on our side of the road, and there's another on the other side, and there's some supplies. Sometimes they might run out of stuff. They don't have any like hot food or anything left. But
Yeah, but we got some water though.
yeah, we
bought
got
some.
water. We brought some water.
Thanks to Brian.
Yeah, Brian made sure we had water. We had really big omelets today, so we had like leftovers.
Yeah.
So we just packed those. So we're any extra food we're bringing with us just in case.
Okay. The positive thing is right across the border, there's a hotel. I'm looking at the map currently. So,
Well,
you guys are on the M19, correct?
yes, he's a friend of mine. His name is Eric. No, it sounds good in theory. Probably it's going to be full. And I think Michael, you had said that you would check some of the prices and they were very high around the border.
Yeah. I think it was not me, but yeah.
Maybe somebody. So they might not have room. It would be wonderful if they did, but we might drive a bit further. We're also someone had mentioned in a private group that they might have a group meet us at the border with some stuff and maybe even I don't know someone to take in shortly so that we can get a little further to a place that might have a hotel and take a rest before we get to Bucharest. Because Bucharest 7 hours from here if it was normal driving conditions.
Yeah, there's a couple of towns along the route once you cross over into Romania. So,
Yeah.
but what time does the control point opens tomorrow?
It is 24/7.
Yeah,
Technically.
So
Doing the air quotes there. Yes, 24 hours.
yeah. So we're not sure. Hopefully they're using this time constructively and trying to process all of the people who have been walking over because they've had very long walks and the facilities aren't that great. Although Ilya said that they get a cookie and some tea when they get far enough in the line.
Okay.
Oh, just next to the border.
Well, just across the border, there's I can never pronounce it, Lidl grocery store right across the river. So probably roughly about
Is this that crazy guy? That same crazy guy? It's a different crazy guy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
yeah, 2 miles from the control point on the other side, there's a grocery store, just so you know.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Okay. All right. So, what does anybody else have any questions for Chris or Mike?
Yeah.
Well, I have a question for you all that I would love to get answered. What do you think about this situation that's occurring right now?
Well, I'm just gonna, from my point of view, is this is insane. The having the Security Council be holed over by the same country that is invading another country, that's insane. The things that are happening, or the reason that this is happening, is, and so to me, this is, as a former member of NATO. One of the good things that they are doing right now is they have opening. They had this morning voted to enact the very quick rapid reaction forces,
Yeah.
which would be deploying. It's about 40,000 soldiers from NATO countries deploying within the next 24 hours. I was a member of the Allied Rapid Reaction Corps, which is the corps headquarters for all the rapid reaction corps back 20 years ago. and they're already in planning to deploy as well. So I mean, there's a lot of craziness going on, and personally, I think this is ridiculous. So anybody else want to add to that? Let's go to Katie right now.
Hi, Chris. This is Katie. We met at Black Hat some time ago.
Ah, how are you? Black Hat London, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm good. I hope that you are okay. So how far are you from the border?
About 3 kilometers.
3 kilometers. And they don't process anything at the moment?
Well, they don't seem to be processing anything at the moment, but we can't see that far ahead. But maybe they are. Maybe they've taken a break.
Do you still have some Romanians on board from those that?
Yes. Yes.
Can they help you out to understand what's happening with the customs?
It's all on the Ukrainian side. That's the problem. So the holdup is the Ukrainian border control on the Ukrainian side. The Romanians, not a problem. It's just on our side because of various, I guess, exit reasons
No.
that Ukraine has put in place or already had, which don't make it easy if you have to go through 2 border checkpoints at the same border when another country's bombing.
Okay, that makes sense. So, yeah, like I don't know how Eric said, the hotel over the border might be a little bit overfull. Probably the next, looking further down, the next city is probably Suceava, if they are not full as well. But yeah, I suspect that once you get on the other side, people might help you, like on the road.
Yeah, exactly. I've been getting a lot of messages. I just got one that I saw a flash of from one of my Romanian friends that there are a lot of Romanians that are trying to help people like us. They're opening their homes. They're offering support. Just throwing their doors open and saying, come, be someplace stable and safe. You don't have to worry about waking up to the sound of shelling.
Okay, so hope you'll cross the border soon. Whatever.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that'd be wonderful.
And then you plan to get to Bucharest and then to fly. You should be able to fly from Suceava as well.
Yeah. I would love to be in the air in safe airspace. Now, we have been told that there are restrictions in place, as in there is a heightened risk of flying in neighboring countries to Ukraine, so there are slightly less flights.
Okay.
So that'll have to be looked at, and what can we do?
Not available anymore, yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right, and we know that we've been working very hard with some groups to get Chris and the team there on the some support as soon as they cross the border. So I'm hoping that that's gonna assist a lot once they cross the border. The challenge again is crossing that border. So so thank you, Katie. Appreciate that. Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. JC, go for it.
Hey, Chris, it's JC Vega. How are you?
How are you? I'm doing pretty good, considering the circumstances of what's happening in other parts of the country where we're alive and well and unharmed.
You know, it is not surprising that you would be right in the middle of where the action is. That is just what you were designed to do, is to go out there and do what's right. I do want you to know that Eric and I and several others of your WeDram members, friends and colleagues, we have plans already set up. So as soon as you cross that border, you will be taken care of. And people just want to know how to get assistance to you for that last kilometer to cross. So keep your head up. We're all looking out for you right now.
Thank you so much.
What else can we do to help you?
Well, since we're all on social media, there's a couple of things. If you see anything on social media that looks like it's trying to show pictures or anything about Ukrainian military troops, do not share that information because it could give away positions and it could kill people. And another thing is try to be very careful with what type of disinformation and misinformation is out there because there is a lot of it right now. So try not to share things that are unconfirmed because it can actually just fall into Russia's hands even more. And obviously there can be a psychological effect to Ukrainians both in country and family members abroad who see that type of news, and it really, really stresses them out until it's found out to be fake. But you know, newspaper retractions, for example, are teeny tiny little bits and pieces in comparison to some of the damage that can be caused by false information.
No, that's a great point. And practicing operational security is imperative. And it's something that in our line of business, we lived for decades, but now this is applying to our everyday life, and oversharing key information does have consequences, real consequences. And this is one of those times where we need to be responsible on how we use this social media. Even if we think it's for good, if it can cause a second and third order effect that's negative on somebody, don't do it.
All right. Thank you, JC. All right. So let's go to Judo. You've got the floor.
Hey, so I apologize. I didn't even realize that I had requested my phone from my pocket. I had no idea I was speaker. I'm just listening.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate for you to come into the space. All right. So does anybody else have any questions for Chris or the folks there? Okay. Now the other thing that please pay attention to Chris's tweets, because she's trying to get the word out for many different things, and she's been requesting from all her friends here to please amplify the messages that she's sending. So if we can do something for her right now, is she will put out some tweets and please amplify that message. So that would be something that you can do to help. Right, Chris?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. All right. So, Parker, can you work the folks that are requesting for me, please?
Yeah, let me see. I saw there were a couple. Let me see if there are. Romeo.
Yep. All right, Romeo, you've got the floor.
Yeah, from to Chris and everyone else. Have you seen this app. Supposedly, saboteurs are using Premise. Have you guys come across that?
No. We were actually very lucky to even have internet connection where we are because I'm connected to a Romanian provider. Ukraine internet has been disrupted. Was confirmed, I don't know, one of the last times I had internet that it's the bandwidth is much lower right now and across most of the country. So we've actually been behind on some of the news of what's been going on.
Okay, apparently some from Ukrainian officials talking with some other folks, they said they had this app on their smartphone. Russians and so forth had this app, and they were using it for laying breadcrumbs out. And if you go, it's a company out of San Francisco, and it's like, hey, you can digitally lay breadcrumbs, and then your folks have smart devices can follow these. In the commercial sector, he's advertising it as you can make money by doing different things. It's for advertising, basically, ad tech type of app. So I just found that interesting. It's something that was being talked about in certain areas over the last 24 hours.
And Romeo, what was that name of it?
It's called Premise. If you go, it's Premise Data Corporation. They're a company out of near San Francisco, one of these startup companies that come up with really cool kind of apps and so forth.
Yep, I just did a quick search, and I've seen now I'm seeing all the tweets asking the Apple Store to please take that off, and I'm looking at those messages. I'll do some research on it as well.
Okay, my second question is on if anyone's heard anything, or like Chris is out there, anyone else might be out there. What kind of comms have the Russian forces or Russian-backed forces been using? Have you guys heard anything? Are they using things that we use, like 52s, 117s? Are they having any really good communication gear, or are the Russians and their forces using very hodgepodge type of comms equipment for coordination, command and control?
So, let's see. Today's Friday. They attacked yesterday. I got to keep track because many Ukrainians have not slept very much since basically Monday. So I received a message on Wednesday from someone saying that the Russians along the border had changed some of the ways that they were using their radio frequency equipment, and that that was very unusual unless they were planning on possibly, doing something naughty like attacking Ukraine. But that was the only message I had gotten for that, and it involved the encryption of their radio frequency, the way they were using it, and the type.
Hi.
So, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. The reason I asked my background, I did 26 years in the IC. I was a tech ops officer, communications officer first, and then switched over to tech ops. And I'm sitting back here in my house near DC and trying to follow and dig up as much as I can, just out of curiosity. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Cherry.
Very timely. Go ahead, you got the floor.
Hi, Cherries.
Hello?
Yeah. Hello?
Hi. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I learn English, and somebody said to me, you should to talk with people and you will learn English.
Very true. Very true.
Yes. Where are you from?
I'm from the U.S., but I live in the Netherlands.
Oh God, I have a friend there. I have a friend in America.
Nice.
Okay.
He's living.
Do you have a question for our speaker?
What?
Do you have a question for Chris?
Oh no.
All right, let's go to our next person. Do we have any other questions here? Okay. All right.
Hey, Chris, this is JC here. If you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
What type of support are you getting there, and from who are you? Because you have more than Americans in your group there. Are there other NGOs and other countries that are providing support to extract your group?
No, not NGOs, but other governments, like the Dutch government, have been involved quite extensively trying to get us a safe route. A particular friend who works with them, I should say, and steer us away from bombs, and also trying to lend support where they can, but it's been very difficult to get anything inside Ukraine because of both the circumstances and logistics and various policies.
All right. Guy, you have any questions?
Yeah, I would like to ask Chris that how many Americans are there in Romania?
How many Americans are here and Romanians?
Yeah, along with you, like say, who moved out?
There are 3.5 U.S. people, and there are 2 Romanians right now.
Okay.
Great.
Plus, we've got Ukrainians.
Okay. What are the facilities over there for Ukrainian refugees, or you can say for all who have migrated from or moved from Ukraine to Romania?
Oh gosh, that's hard to say. So, how many kilometers backed up this border crossing is? I do know that Lviv is 9 kilometers long into Poland, just that border crossing. So imagine how many cars and how many people, and that's just one border crossing. This is another one. There are many others.
Okay.
There are millions and millions of Ukrainians that are now refugees trying to leave or have left. Then there's also the special problem of there are a lot of Romanians, a lot of Polish people, etc., that are inside Ukraine because it's a neighboring country. There are a lot of similarities, especially along border regions. There's an area of Ukraine that speaks Ukrainian, but it sounds like it's Polish. That's the only way it can be described because it's been a border area peaceful border area for a long time. So there's a lot of these cultural ties that this part of the world in Eastern Europe have. And so not just Ukrainians, but also neighboring countries who their citizens come and go and live freely to a certain extent inside Ukraine. So there are millions. Probably, if I wanted to take
So
a
you are
ballpark
still
guess,
you
there's probably about 10 million.
you
Hello?
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okay. Parker, can you approve the other requests? Okay. Blue Fox, let's go with you.
Hello. I was wanting to just make a response earlier about the question about the radios. Basically, on the videos that was available to see publicly, I didn't see anything that was like in relation to a 152 or a 117, but I did see looks like what to be like at least single channel radios being utilized by the Russian forces.
Если мы пересечем границу, израильские паспорта мы сделаем несложно это сделать. Ну,
All right. Thank you very much for that. So, Chris, anything else you want to tell our folks here?
In all of the countries that you are in, you have people in those countries that are from the Ukraine. Because like every other country, people migrate. If you know any Ukrainians or people with Ukrainian ties, and I was going to say give them a hug, but it's COVID time. So give them a virtual hug. Also, give virtual hugs to other affected communities because Putin gave a very terrible speech today, basically saying he wanted to restore all of the historic ties of Russia. And the big fear throughout Eastern and parts of Central Europe is that this means that aggression can be ramped up along what was the former Soviet Union. So those folks inside your countries will also be concerned. And yeah, buy iodine pills because of what's going on at Chernobyl.
So we've got somebody close by to you there. Pepin,
Ooh.
How are you doing, my friend?
Hello, Eric. Thank you very much.
Let everybody know where you are.
I'm from Czech Republic, which is really near to this conflict, and really have cried a lot to be open to this community. And my question is, from your perspective, because I know you are in Navy, or sorry, not Navy, but you are in Army. So how do we protect the Ukrainian once again, please? Because there's some tweets on Twitter, like everyone of us know something about geolocation. That's one of the problem in this war, because Russia is on Twitter as well. But how can we protect innocent people and Ukrainian army as well? What's your point of view on this?
My point of view, it's actually of a Dutch point of view, in which ethical hackers, that is, can protect people, protect organizations. So I'm not sure what the legalities are in Czech, but I know it is legal in the Netherlands as long as you do non-destructive testing in a secure manner without any harm, and you report the issues to the appropriate authorities, then it's not illegal. So, for example, if you're doing non-destructive scanning in Ukraine for databases and you happen to come up with an open database on military members, then report that to your CERT so that they can contact and coordinate to remove that information before Russia gets it. If you see other information, any sort of personally identifiable information that's located in the Ukraine, report that to your appropriate CERT, because the computer emergency response teams in the area, including Czech, are trying to help the Ukraine right now. And perhaps because of the knowledge that many in our group have with different types of, say, open source intelligence or cybersecurity or privacy or, on and on and on, in a non-destructive way, we might be able to, say, more proactively secure Ukraine and help if we see some of these things.
Thank you, Chris.
All right, folks. I am going to pass the reins back to Parker. I've got to run right now. Chris, I will be communicating with you. So be safe. I love you, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay?
All right. Cheers.
Thanks so much, Eric. And thank you, Chris, for talking with us. I know a lot's going on. So if anybody has more questions for Chris about maybe some of the things that have happened over the last couple of days, even last couple hours, or maybe what you've seen or heard from other people as you are waiting to cross the border.
One of the things I've seen is, it's still wintertime and it's in Ukraine, and at night it gets quite cold, like frosty cold, sometimes flurries, and the amount of people who are walking over the border is quite surprising. I mean, don't get me wrong, I travel a lot, but it's a bit of pain of the rear end. So I can't imagine lugging luggage, kilometer after kilometer, to try to get over a border. That I believe shows the anxiety which has occurred. Also, knowing that when I see a car packed up and there's little packs of diapers and other things like that, that it's not easy traveling with children, even on the best day. Having to do this during wartime, it's very difficult, and seeing it firsthand in Ukraine is both shocking and fills me with dismay. So it's been a very big eye opener of everyday people going about their lives, bombing and fleeing for their lives as quickly as possible.
It's definitely going to be, I mean, I can't even imagine, let alone in the wintertime, children. Yeah, it's got to be really tough.
I mean, how do you keep them entertained? We've got 3 kids. They're wonderful kids, but they're in a bus. And, they're of a certain age, they're rather innocent. And their parent having to go through not only driving losses, trying to plan logistics, trying to plan around, are there going to be a shortage of supplies? Are we going to be able to get gas? Because right now gas is restricted to 10 liters maximum per each time you go in or stand in line. How are you going to get formula? How are you going to get medication? How are you going to get a prescription refill? How do you know that electricity is going to be stable? Right now, the capital city doesn't have electricity. And it doesn't just power the capital city of Kyiv. How do you deal with the medical condition? How do you deal with needing to leave with your family and you've got elderly family that don't want to leave and can't leave very easily because of their age? It makes a lot of hard decisions, and it takes the reality of our everyday lives and says, oh, you thought life was hard? Well, here's bloody Putin. Oh, you thought that was hard? Well, we took over Chernobyl, and there's an elevated level of radiation. And it keeps getting more difficult. And it's not an easy thing. And I'm more of an observer because I was visiting. I didn't live here. But most of the people I see around me live here. And imagine what this is like on top of what's going to happen to their country tomorrow. So it's something, and it's something that I wish would never repeat again.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Hey, real quick on the premise stuff, I was just catching up because I had just gotten home and then I jumped in your chat. But it looks like a bunch of us that sent info to Premise and the CEO, they responded and said that they deactivated. They support the Ukrainian people. They don't agree with the Russian occupation and attack, and that they've turned off all accounts for people using their data in a nefarious way, the resources.
Excellent. And I hope they also turn over, for example, any other data that they collect from those devices, IMEI, model number, whatever it can be, contact information, whatever, to friendly countries that support Ukraine to try to build things like there was mention of bringing Russia to the International Criminal Court, for example. So that would be very useful data for prosecutors in The Hague.
Correct, and that ad tech data I use that for part of SIGINT targeting, and just another layer because you can really get high fidelity geolocation.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you something. Marketing stuff, marketing data, man, they're scarier than most intel organizations.
That's a fact.
So some of that data could be quite invaluable for both intelligence and for prosecution related to human rights atrocities.
Алло, Юра, здравствуйте. Скажите, как ваша отчество?
Chris, is there anything you wish people would know? I guess maybe something that's not getting a lot of attention.
Ага, Юра, слухайте, ви мені
What's something that's not getting a lot of attention?
Треба вирішити мені питання. Допоможіть, будь ласка, жіночці.
Hold on. Mike, what is something that is not getting a lot of attention? So I'm asking Mike right now.
organization of the пізніше вас набрати це коли? Evacuation of people.
The allocation of people?
Evacuation. I mean,
Oh, the organization of the evacuation of people. Nothing's being done, so it's very disorganized. So there's no plan of evacuation that's been put into place. People are just running. People are hoping that the next place that they run isn't anywhere where the Russians might hit it. So there's, even though things have been rather orderly in comparison to some of the Hollywood movies I've stayed up and watched and seen, there isn't this is your evacuation route signs like they might have in Florida or Washington, D.C. There aren't like guidelines like, oh, you need to evacuate. Well, here's what you need to do. Here's what you need to bring, etc., etc. Which routes to take. All of that information, it doesn't exist right now. So people are scrambling on their own and trying to do what they can to get away from bad stuff, as quickly as possible. And as safely as possible. But when you have millions of people, there needs to be much better organization and communication, if possible, on how they can actually live tomorrow.
How is the mood of the people that are with you right now, Chris?
The mood? Very tired.
Yeah.
Um,
And the weather. How is the weather? The temperature right now where you are. I hear the conversation back. I can hear some chills that are coughing, and I don't know. I try to imagine the situation that is there right now.
It's cold. Nighttime it drops to freezing, so it's kind of cold at night, and it doesn't help. And even though it seems like a car or a bus might be a great place to be, well, not a great place, but an okay place, these types of vehicles aren't insulated for cold weather insofar as trying to spend the night. So we're very lucky to have a system where it'll keep it at a base minimum in case all of us fell asleep, and want to make sure that the kids especially don't get sick from the cold. But yeah, it's kind of cold.
And you are alone there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, you are alone in Ukraine?
No. No, I now have a new family in Ukraine.
Well, it's hard to say anything in this situation. I only want to send out you to the people that are there, a virtual hug, as you say, a few moments, a message of force to be strong, that this situation will finish in any moment. So they only need to be strong and support this situation.
Absolutely. Let's hope the United Nations is as strong as the Ukrainian people's hearts are to keeping their country free of Russia.
Yes, they are right.
A question for you, Chris.
Hey, Bruce.
Hey there. How much intel are you getting of what's going on behind you? What is actually happening with the actions of the Russians at this point? I'm assuming we may have more information than you do.
Right now, the intel that I'm receiving, because we've got not so good internet, sometimes no cell signal, is I'm very lucky to be watched out for. I have a Dutch guardian angel, so to speak, and I hope that he'll allow me to discuss his role publicly when things cool down. But my phone has been tracked by GPS by them to keep us on a safe route where we are
Copy.
and ahead of us. And that's what we've been concentrating on, just to make sure that things don't go south real quick, because we had to make a very hasty detour yesterday to avoid shelling that was imminent. And we narrowly missed that. Some of the people on the bus heard it, the things dropping. Can't quite make the sound.
Yeah, copy.
But, yeah.
Because it looks just like things potentially could get much worse behind you.
Well, yeah, I mean, they have Chernobyl, and there's an elevated radiation level in Ukraine.
Yeah.
So, I think it was last year or the year before, I lose track with COVID. I put out one of these COVID bingo cards, and one of the squares was, you know, stuff with nuclear. I thought that would be far-fetched. Drat. I think I might have won bingo now.
Oops.
Yeah.
Thanks. We'll keep in touch.
Definitely.
Chris, have you been able to get a sense of, I guess, like Ukrainians or people that are kind of fleeing the area, what their opinion on how like the rest of the world is reacting to the situation, or some of the other like global media, how it's being portrayed to the rest of the world?
There's some. So, depends on who you talk to. There were some people before, even after Monday happened, but before yesterday happened, that still believed that it was no big deal, that maybe it would stay in the East like it has been for all these years now. They've gotten used to all the news and everything coming out of the East part of Ukraine. Excuse me, but it wouldn't affect them in the West. That it was blown out of proportion with the news media, especially the Western news media. And now it's more like we really need help when it comes to Russia, because Russia's not so nice. But the sense that they want to do it, they need to do it, but overwhelming feeling of how can they do it alone. So, of course, you know, things are still early on with all this, and these types of attacks are meant to demoralize, but at the same time, nobody really wants to leave, but they're only leaving for their safety. They want to come back as soon as possible, once things can be stable.
And I know I think you posted a couple hours ago that you were going to have to kind of stay in the line that you're at to get over the border. Or have they given you an idea about how long that might take? I mean, I imagine with everybody else trying to get out, it might be a while.
Yeah, we're looking at possibly 2 more days here in the line.
Wow.
To go 3 kilometers.
And is that mostly just due to border checks, the amount of people that are trying to get out, or I mean, like a combination of that, or I know
Yeah.
you've said some people have resorted to just walking because that might be faster.
Well, Ukraine has an exit border. There are a lot of countries, not most, but a lot, that when you leave a country, you don't have to have all your documents looked over and permission to leave. And Ukraine has a system where to get to Romania, you have to first go through these exit checks. And also there is the troublesome matter of what is the Ukrainian currency worth right now? If you are a border person, are you going to actually get paid? Again, ever. And so there's some, how should I put it? Facilitation fees at the border. So, yeah.
People trying to maybe not capitalize on the situation,
but capitalize on the situation. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So that's also slowing things down quite a bit.
Yeah. So at least for where they are.
Yeah. Well, that's I mean too bad. I mean,
Oh,
I feel like people are always gonna try and take
hold
advantage
on,
of a bad situation.
One moment. We're actually getting an update on some of the Romanians who tried to walk over. 1 second.
Yeah. Right on the Ukrainian border.
They're right on the Ukrainian border?
For 1 hour. Break, like 1 hour. Break.
1 hour break?
Yeah, they're too tired, you know.
The reason exactly was there's a break.
There's a 1 hour break being taken at the Ukrainian border. So they decided to take a light dinner. So it's 24 hours supposedly, but they decided to take a snack break for an hour. So nothing's being processed. Awesome. So those are some of the things that we're dealing with.
It's not like there's a major going on or anything.
Right? You know, yeah, not like a major conflict going on, and people are desperate to flee it. No. I just, yeah. Anywho, it's fun.
Там только что машина ехала, такое, я не знаю, он обратно, короче, его побили биту, биту взяли, побили машину, фары побили, ударили по дверям.
And is there any way that people obviously not in the area can either help support, or I know I've talked to Eric in the past and he's mentioned I think Operation Dynamo.
Yep, Project Dynamo.
Project Dynamo.
Yep.
Is that probably the best way people can help, or
well,
is there anything
that's
we can do to help morale-wise?
So Project Dynamo deals with evacuating people, especially Americans, and that is one way that can help. Another way, because obviously it's difficult to support Ukrainian businesses when they might not be in business anymore. I believe I saw a Reddit thread on the subreddit Ukraine where they had a list of legitimate charities that are trying to help, and you might want to go there because I know a lot of people need help. I just don't know the exact address off the top of my head, but it's one of the subreddits called Ukraine. So that would be a good way. And if you're in any of the neighboring countries where people are fleeing, see if you can help out any of the refugees in any way, shape, or form.
Perfect. I will see if I can find that link and either share it just outright or and add it to the top here for people to take a look.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. And does anybody else that's listening have any more questions for Chris, or we'll try and, I wouldn't necessarily lighten the mood, but try to offer some support.
Hey, Chris, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I know you said earlier about your bingo card with Chernobyl, but I would say that with your same bingo card that you didn't probably expect to make a new family in Ukraine, did you?
No, I did not. So, not a lot of stress and not so great things have happened, but I've met some great people at the same time. So I'm very very lucky in that respect.
And then I did have somebody message and want to know how are levels of like the necessities, fuel, food, water.
Well, fuel's being rationed to only 10 liters, which let's say about 4 liters is a gallon, but I might be doing the math wrong. I'm getting quite tired. 4.4 liters or something. So there's 2 gallons. So the thing is right now, I know yesterday as we were leaving Ukraine, people were buying extra groceries, but it was like an extra bag or maybe 2. From what we saw driving down the road and seeing some people coming out of grocery stores, it's kind of keeping track. But I don't know what it looks like today because we've just been at the border. At the convenience stores, people seem to take a little bit extra, but not huge amounts of what they need. So I would say there are some stocks, but fuel's a problem, and electricity is a problem in some areas because of the bombing of the power station that hit Kyiv. So that's problematic. But for the most part, there's still stuff. However, at the same time, it's only been a day since Russia invaded.
Hey, Chris, it's Tracy. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hi, sweetheart. I just wanted to say hello. And, I hope you're aware of how much everyone appreciates your updates and is worried about you. And, please let the Ukrainian people know because they probably can't gauge this from where they are. But there's just so much support. So many different cities across the U.S., sorry, I'm going to get choked up, are having rallies. And world monuments are having blue and yellow lights on them. So the world does see this, and we are paying attention. So just be safe, and you know how to contact me. Anything you need, hon, I got you.
Oh, thank you so much. And I miss you. I miss you so much.
I miss you too. I can't wait to see you. So you're going to come this summer. We're going to swim in my pool, and we're going to drink.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey guys, I hope that I will see you one time. Please be safe.
Hello.
Chris, please be safe. Please.
Oh, yes. We are trying. We are definitely trying to
Hope so.
stay safe. Absolutely.
Well, Chris, is there anything else you want to share? I definitely don't want to take up too much of your time. I know it's late and you've had a pretty long week.
You all also stay safe out there. We still have a pandemic, and since I haven't read the news, whatever variant of whatever variant and variant might be out there. And just be wonderful to each other, and know that when I read your supportive comments for the brief periods of time I can get internet sometimes on the road, it really makes us feel good. And thank you so much, all of you.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. I guess one thing I did want to ask, bringing in kind of the pandemic, how has that been? I guess has that been at the front of people's minds as they evacuate? I can't imagine it would be, but I can't imagine having to like try and add that on top of everything.
Well, I think the first time we kind of went inside someplace, most of the people were wearing masks because it's supposed to be the mandate here. Then after that, it's like we just want to be alive tomorrow. So I'm sure it will cause complications, and I mean, to get over to Romania, you're supposed to have a PCR test, but how do you get one of those when you're at war? So some of the requirements have been thrown out, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's some increases. Obviously, people are going to be like we are. We were a bunch of people in a bus. At one time, we had 24 people, and yeah, what doesn't kill you today might. There's some sort of saying, what doesn't kill you today might kill you tomorrow. But we've got, unfortunately, more important and pressing things to deal with.
Yeah. I guess one final thing, just because I'd heard it quite a bit in some of the news coverage leading up to the formal invasion, was the like false threats of bombings, and so kind of using that as a way to numb people to the idea of an actual threat. Have you run into people that still kind of downplay what's going on, or saying that this might not actually be as bad as it seems?
Yes, apparently part of the new QAnon stuff is that this is all fake news, that nothing has happened in Kyiv or any other place in the Ukraine, which is absolutely insane, but okay. So yeah, there's that.
And is that something you see mostly from like people outside of the country, or are there even people in Ukraine that still don't acknowledge the events that are going on?
There are some here. QAnon phenomenon spread worldwide. Heck, we even have them in the Netherlands. But there are few here, but not very, very many.
Okay. See if there's anybody else in the audience that has anything else, Chris, or say before we hopefully start wrapping up. Give you time to relax as much as you can.
Hey, Chris, I know it's way past bedtime over there, and then some. Try to at least get in a power nap or two, okay? And we'll hopefully see you real soon, okay?
Yeah, definitely. Can't wait.
All right. Love you, babe. Be careful and keep us posted when you can.
Absolutely. Love you too.
All right. Bye, hun.
Yeah. Thanks again for hopping on, Chris. Hopefully we can check in more and keep providing people kind of that firsthand update and perspective that not a lot of people might have.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully I'll have great internet shortly, stable, because I'll be in Romania.
Yeah, so yeah, just definitely keep in touch and check in as often as you can.
All right. Oh, sorry. Now I'm getting the yawnies. I will do, and I'll talk to all of you later. Cheers, all,
Yeah,
and
bye.
have a wonderful night. Bye.
Yeah, you too.
Cheers.